All right, so my book is about a guy who gets a pill that makes him cool. But at the beginning of the book, he's not very cool. He's not really much of anything. And I'm just going to read a little bit from the start so you can get an idea of how little he really is. The room is bright and alive at 8:45 a.m. I can almost ignore Lenny Lenape High School's zombie fluorescent lighting. Mr. Gretsch is up at his desk, a tall, bald head with wisps of hair and a beard. He's accompanied by a newspaper and a cactus. In about 20 seconds, he's going to take attendance. To my left is Jenna Rowland, the coolest girl in class. Jenna is already talking. She was like, "I'll only do it if you beat me in pool." And then, of course, she intentionally lost in pool. What a slut! Jenna likes to talk about her friend Elizabeth, who is a real slut. In fact, when I think about it, Jenna never talks about her family, or TV, or when work is due, or the ins and outs of procuring concert tickets, like most girls. She just talks about how Elizabeth is a slut. You should have seen what she was wearing. It was like a garbage bag with a condom on top. Anne laughs. Anne is the second coolest girl in class, which is math. She sits in front of me, so she's always twisting back in her chair to talk to Jenna, which reinforces the fact that Jenna is coolest and she is second coolest. Girls are very territorial. Mr. Gretsch clears his throat from the front of the room. Abby, here. Asu, here. Atboro, here. Azu, not Asu. Mr. Gretsch absentmindedly cups his cactus. This never seems to hurt him. Here. Caniglia. Christine raises her hand. I look over at her. She looks beautiful. Here. I look down. Devuknovich, here. Garansky, here. Here! Oh yeah. Here comes the fun part. The part that has been stressing me since they started taking attendance in 5th grade. I can't say here in response to my last name. It confuses teachers. I raise my hand quietly and say, present. Somebody snickers up by the front of the room. Are they snickering at me? Are they? Can never be too sure. I pull out one of my pre-printed humiliation sheets, write the date up top, and put a tally mark next to the snicker category. I cover the page tightly so Jenna can't see. Then I retune my ears to listen for copycat snickering. The humiliation sheets have developed a lot over the years with a host of different categories, but the current model has snicker, laugh, snotty comment, refusal to return a head nod, which is the standard form of greeting at my high school, refusal to return a verbal greeting, refusal to touch hands, public denial of formerly agreed upon opinion, refusal to repeat a joke, and mortification event, which is a catch-all. I use the humiliation sheets to keep track of my social status in a concrete, quantitative way. They're my secret, totally. I make sure that no one sees them as I fill them up with tally marks every day. I hate tally marks. Up in front, Mr. Gretsch writes K on the board. K is never a good sign in math. Once you see it, you might as well just ignore everything and save yourself. Mr. Gretsch can't hear on account of he's old, so Jenna keeps talking and I keep listening. Okay, and then Elizabeth was like, "Where can we go? I don't have a car like you." And the guy says, Jenna puts on a low voice, "Come and sit on this pipe, babe." And she went. Unbelievable. Anne eats it up, craning her neck to suck in every word. It's far enough into the school year, mid-October, for kids to have stopped talking about summer. And the big story was that Jake Dillinger had sex with this model from Czechoslovakia who was dating his dad, which I believe. Jake can do anything. Mostly people are talking about the parties of the past weekend or the PSATs which are coming up. There's also scattered chatter about the Halloween dance. I hear Brianna has like 5 boys lined up because with football players, you don't know if one of them is going to sprain his ankle and not be able to dance. Anne up talks. Jenna gives back cold silence. That happened to me in junior high. My then boyfriend broke his leg, and I had to dance with him while he was on crutches in a cast, and it was so horrible. I tune my ears from Jenna Ann to other pockets of activity in the room. Mark Jackson and this other kid, his name's actually Jackson Marks. They discuss video games. Rob works out a math problem, probably something post-calculus, while picking at his mouth, ear, and nose as if he has them on shuffle. Barbary explains how everyone has to call him Dr. Barbary now because he ordered a PhD off the internet. And Christine, quiet in her invisible pod up by the front of the room, just looks pretty. Ooh, I heard Christine Kniggley has a new stalker, Jenna says. Whoa. Jenna, Anne whispers like she's protecting something. He's right there. Double whoa. I sit quietly, stiff, calm. My head is turned so they must not think I'm listening, but I'm always listening. I'm wired. I peek at Jenna. She eyes me as if I'm a mildly interesting object between her and the clock. I turn back. Yeah, that's him, she says to Anne. I heard he wrote her a letter. I never wrote any letter. I never even said anything to Christine. Not once, except don't press C7. The Nutrigrain bars get stuck in this machine. That one time out by the student union office where the Nutrigrain bars get stuck in the machine. Because I can't talk to Christine. I just look at her and think about her a lot because she's beautiful, you know? I mean, she's intelligent and sweet and everything else that a girl is supposed to be to offset her beauty. But even if she were idiotic and mean, she'd still be beautiful and I'd still be contorted. He is weird, Jenna says. This is a bad day for me to start hearing this stuff. In my pocket is a Shakespeare made of chocolate, okay? Like one of those Easter Bunny chocolates, but in the shape of Shakespeare. And I was going to give it to Christine today at our first play rehearsal. I clutch it. Jenna whispers something I can't quite catch. I slide my elbow across my humiliation sheet and put a tally mark under mortification event because I don't have a specific category for people whispering about me. I should. Just then Mr. Gretsch does a stupid, classic high school move, and I can't even believe it's being done to me. And Jeremy, can you tell us what that angle would be? My notebook isn't open. It's being used as a humiliation sheet shield. My neurons aren't depolarizing. I learned that in bio. Mortification event number 2. At lunch, I seek out my best friend, Michael Mell. Michael sits in a different place in the cafeteria every day. Sometimes the indoor part with the long formica tables, sometimes the outdoor part with the scarred picnic benches and giant bees. But you can always spot him because he's a tall white boy with a white boy afro and huge headphones. They have a cord coming off them that's spiraled like an old phone cord. The headphones let him plunk down anywhere with the jocks or the Warhammer nerds or at one of the girl tables, although Michael only sits with Asian girls. No one bothers him when he has the headphones on because he's obviously got important things on his mind. What's up, I say as I approach. Michael doesn't listen to a thing in those headphones during lunch. He just likes how they feel in his head. He says, wolfing down a fish patty sandwich with cheese and chocolate milk. Sup? Big problems, I say. I pull the chocolate Shakespeare out of my pocket. It's wrapped in Victorian-era style foil. I plop it on the table and I prop up my elbows to either side of it. I don't think I can give this to Christine. Yeah. Michael, yeah. You want to finish that? Michael smiles and lets chewed fish cheese roll through the gap in his teeth. It plats onto the tray in front of him. Crackhead, I say. People are going to see you. Michael says. His Adam's apple bobs up and down. His food slides away. Yeah, so he drinks milk, wipes his mouth on the back of his wrist. What's with Christine? You're pussying out? Yeah, well, I haven't touched my food. It's bad. What's bad? I totally know how it is. Did you say something dumb to her? Well, no, but people think I did, which is basically the same thing. No, Michael says, working on an orange ice cream bar now. You doing something and people thinking that you did something are actually really different. Well, people think I gave her a letter. I've got your letter. You've got my song. Michael's body rocks as he grins. I punch him in the shoulder. No Weezer, okay? I'll try. Michael folds his hands. So who thinks you wrote Christine a letter? Jenna did. You know, she also said I was her new stalker. You're such a girl. Michael gets up and slides his tray into a nearby garbage can. So what? You know, does Christine care? That's who's important, right? Yeah, she's who's important, but she's not the only thing that matters in this whole situation, I say, making circles with my hands to emphasize situation. It's like, do I still give this to her or not? Will it seem too stalkerish? Jeremy, Michael fixes buttons on his shirt. That chocolate Shakespeare is genius. She's gonna love chocolate because everybody does, except for those weird people who only like chips. Michael glances one table away at a redheaded girl eating chips. And she's in a Shakespeare play with you, so obviously she's gonna like Shakespeare. Yeah, but what if she thinks I'm an obsessed loser? I start in on the bean salad on my tray. It came cold, but feels colder. Dude, Michael says, think of how you'll feel if you don't give it to her. Think of how you'll feel at home tonight, jerking off, having missed your chance. Oh, yeah, well, you know, I'll feel like I do all the time. Like I feel whenever I can't dial a phone number or dance at a dance or hold a hand correctly. Like I'm used to feeling. Like shit. Right, so give it to her. Yo, tall ass, could you maybe sit or move from the garbage can? Rich says to Michael. Rich has come on the scene. That's what he does best. He's shorter than us, but very built. He has blonde hair with a streak of red in the back, like a rooster. Michael moves aside and Rich dumps his whole tray, including the actual tray, into the trash. He eyes us. What? Punks. That's that.